Hello and welcome to another episode of the podcast for the recently deceased. I'm the boss, Hosferatu, and with me this evening is Stephen Anthony from Dark Claw Studios. How we doing, Stephen?
Hoss, we're doing so good, man. We're doing so good.
Good. That's good to hear. Good is
How is
good.
everything over at Basement Media?
Basement Media is great. We are finally about to release the final copy edit of She Deserved to Live. And we got a handful of festivals we're submitting that to, and we'll see how she goes.
Now, I'm just going to ask you a question. I'm going to blow up your spot here live with the entire audience watching the photo that's at the end.
Fixed.
No!
Fixed.
You fixed it?
Fixed. I went on
This
a.
guy is committed. This man is committed.
I went on about 5 full days last week, last week,
Just to do that one
into
thing.
this week, just to learn a whole bunch of CG stuff that I hadn't learned through After Effects, and I gored up both the stabbing scenes. I fixed the color of the blood in the shooting scene.
Oh, man, now I want to see it again.
I fixed the photo. I even added a portrait of Suzanne and her dead daughter when she was so young Suzanne with teenage Suzanne's
Yes,
daughter,
yes.
just as an Easter egg in the background. I hung it on the wall in one of the scenes.
And
I-
did you get the little baby head clip art for the credit scene? Because I was telling my coworker about that today.
No, I didn't get the baby head clip art.
Damn it, Nate.
I did take you out of production assistant because you wanted your transportation credit so bad.
I did. Transporter. It's what I do.
Okay.
It's what I
I
love.
still think the PA credit would be better, but it's okay.
I mean, no. Dave Pitt the third and whoever else was the PA.
Yeah, Steven.
Wait, Steven wasn't a PA, was he?
Yeah, why not?
Because he was the director of photography. I mean, honestly, it was me and Davey that did like all the production assistant shit, like all the go grab whatever anybody needed at any given moment shit. But if I could only get 2 credits, boom operator and something else, I will take transportation.
All right, sounds good. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never been with us, what we're going to do is talk about a movie. We're going to give you a quick, short little synopsis and a score out of 1 to 10. And then we are going to announce that we're heading into spoiler territory, where if you care, you should go watch the movie and come back. If you don't care, feel free to finish the episode. We're going to talk about the whole movie anyway.
Yeah.
Tonight we are discussing Over Your Dead Body. A dysfunctional married couple retreats to a secluded cabin to repair their relationship, but each secretly plots to murder the other. Directed by Jorma Taccone. Written by Tommy Wirkola, Nick Ball, John Niven. Starring Jason Segel, Samara Weaving, Timothy Oliphant, Juliette Lewis, and you'll recognize the guy who plays Siegel's dad too, but I don't know his name.
Paul Guilfoyle.
There you go.
He was so good.
Well, he was so good.
He was so, like, when they brought him in the beginning, I was like, oh god, I really hope and pray they figure out a way to get him to come back at the end, and they did, and it was great.
It was so good. So I'm gonna go first because I'm super excited about this. I was super excited about this movie. It got awarded at South by Southwest. I'm always following Samara Weaving. Her career has just been phenomenal, especially in the horror/horror comedy. This is definitely a dark comedy, psychological thriller.
Very dark comedy.
Very dark comedy. Not to mention Jason Segel, who I've been a fan of since I think
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
no, before that it was a TV
Freaks and
show,
Geeks.
Freaks and Geeks, yes. And Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which of course was he wrote and I believe directed, maybe with the help of Judd Apatow, but he definitely did that all himself, and that was phenomenal. And he does have a puppeteering background, which is why he wrote that into the movie, which was a lot of fun. He took over the Muppets. He made a Muppet movie. Seth Rogen, who's also from Freaks and Geeks and the Uppatoe crowd, has since taken over the Muppets.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But
It's completely unnecessary.
yep. So let's say just fun, hilarious. I laughed out loud through most of this movie. If you have a traumatic relationship in your past, you will relate to the first half of this film in such a way that I've had every single fight in this movie. Every single one. Like, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like
I'm gonna wait for my spoiler filled review to talk about that stuff. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
My marriage, which I've been divorced just over a year now, I was Jason Segel, she was Samara Weaving. It's just, those are just very not obvious, but like very common roles that we take when we don't communicate properly.
Almost archetypes. This movie, everybody will be able to relate to it. There were a couple things I didn't feel like I could relate as varied and colorful my ex-girlfriends were. I didn't feel like I could relate to on that level, but there's one point where I don't know if he's like blowing his nose or picking his nose or something, and she just turns to him and like the very beginning of the movie, and she's just like, "Why?" And I can relate to that right now. God bless the B. Humes. She just tolerates so much snot everywhere.
He blows his nose in a handkerchief. He blows his nose in a handkerchief, and he goes like this. He just shows it to her. She's like,
because he's impressed.
Yeah.
Because he did something worthy.
Yeah,
that's great. That's a great moment for him, and I want to share this with this woman I love, and she just doesn't get it. So that I totally related to. Yeah, I got a lot to say. Huss, give me a score. How much did you love this movie from 1 to 10?
Over Your Dead Body is the first 9 of 2026.
He fucking wrecked. That is correct. You nailed it. Okay, so since you're obviously about to steal my thunder, I'm going to steal your thunder, stealing my thunder. So, Over Your Dead Body. Okay, I don't know if this was on the BTS or if we were recording, but we were talking about what movie we're going to see. And I asked, are we going to go see Mortal Kombat? A ninja brought back from the dead, shoving a chain into another human being, screaming, "Get over here!" and sucking the soul out of another human being. And you say, no, that's not horror, this is action. And I'm like, we're going to go see this comedy? So I go into this movie with a prejudice. Now, normally I would say this is Jason Segel's movie, this is Samara Weaving's movie. I'm going to say something completely different this week. This is Jorma Taccone. Is that the pronunciation of the director and executive producer?
Jorma Taccone.
This is Jorma's movie. If you stay until the very, very end, and you should, there is an awesome shot that they took of the cast and crew, and this movie, the only reverse engineering I did was just feeling the love of the collaborative process. This movie was not inundated by money. It was not inundated by ease. It was not inundated by star power or ego. This movie is honestly pretty damn near perfect. As soon as you accept it for what it is, and it is what it is, hilarious. I laughed out loud. I almost busted a spleen.
Yeah.
And she's leaning like, breathe, you're okay. There was a guy behind me snickering at the exact perfect times that just amplified the movie-going experience. I have no idea what was wrong with the 4 mute people in front of us. This movie is fantastic, hilarious. But it's a collaboration. You got Jason Segel in the front and Samara Weaving in the back. It's going to be funny and hilarious, and then it's going to be dark and twisted. But that's going to ebb and flow throughout. But it is going to go in that direction. And the trailer is going to tell you what this movie's about. And it's going to be, one person outsmarting the other, and that's all you need. That's all you need. But then halfway through, which I know you're going to cover, man, Juliette Lewis. Damn, so good. This movie, Send Help would have been a 9, but I didn't like the ending. It went off just a little bit too far. And Haas has been going, this is the best movie, this is the best movie. And I've been sticking to my guns. So far, it's Send Help. No! Over Your Dead Body, solid 9, straight past the 8 of Send Help. This so far is the best movie of 2026. Go see it twice because you're going to laugh your ass off. You're going to love it. And there's enough horror in there. Horror fans, do not discount this movie. You're going to love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that, we're going to move into spoiler territory.
Oh, shit. That wasn't spoiler territory?
Yeah, technically not. That's okay. Yeah, so a couple things right off the bat. Like, I had no idea they were trying to kill each other. The way the trailer sets it up, it's that she just catches him trying to kill her. And you just don't know what happens next. You know, she reveals to him that she had a plan to kill him.
Yeah, the happy hunting reveal.
Yeah, the hunting reveal. Yes, the happy hunting.
And I love how this movie like showed stuff like the cornflakes, and then you realize later, and I was never annoyed by the callbacks. I thought they were hilarious. There's one that comes up later. That was my second big laugh out loud, but we'll talk about it when we get there.
Which, let me tell you, my biggest complaint about movies, you know how it's them spoon-feeding the information to the audience. This movie did not spoon-feed. It never said, hey, look at this thing that I put in 15 minutes ago. It just showed it, and if you saw it, you saw it, and if you didn't, you didn't. This movie never thought you were stupid. This movie trusted the audience, which is what we're always saying people do wrong. Jorma
which is why
did
this
it.
is Jorma's movie.
Absolutely.
He trusted his actors. He trusted his crew. Nailed it.
And he trusted the audience to see and experience the film the way he wanted you to see and experience the film.
Yep.
This movie was so good. I can't say enough about it. Jason Segel was hilarious when he needed to be hilarious. He was severe and divisive when he needed to be. Samara Weaving, the exact same. Her character was written a little more serious and severe than Jason Segel was, but when she needed to be funny, the line delivered 100%. They both absolutely crushed it. Timothy Olyphant and Juliette Lewis being the supporting cast. All right, yeah. These are A-listers, you know.
Yeah.
In fact, both of them are probably higher on the A-list than Samara and Jason, and they're the supporting cast. Timothy Olyphant crushes this role.
He does, and what I love about his performance, he's not playing while everybody collaborated, and everybody had Jorma's ear, and that was awesome, that process. Timothy Olyphant, not recognizable, and from The Office and Santa Clarita Diet, anything I've seen him in, completely different character, and crushed it.
Yeah. I mean, he's like this, slightly psychotic, not serial killer, but repeat murderer, serial murderer, and he's just cool and collected, and he's the leader of this trio. This jailbreak trio.
Yeah. Which you see the breaking news on the news. I don't know if it's when Jason's visiting his dad in the nursing home, but you see it, so you know it's going to be relevant. But again, it wasn't heavy-handed. You weren't beaten over the head with it, so you weren't surprised when it happened. But I didn't see that coming.
Nope.
I saw Timothy Olyphant and Juliette Lewis in the credits, and I was like, I see two people here.
Yeah.
So I was. It's easy enough to reverse engineer, and you kind of sort of know where the movie's going to go. But I was very, very pleasantly surprised when the three criminals showed up.
Absolutely, and the revealing them by shooting through the attic was very interesting. It didn't have them come to the home while they were already there and take them hostage. Right? They kind of got caught unawares after planning the next step of their jailbreak, and those plans being ruined by these two showing up. They had to go hide in the attic. And they're only up there for a day and a half.
With great use of cards with 5 days earlier, 2 days earlier.
Right.
Really great storytelling device, so that it's not a linear. It's not from A to Z.
Right.
It jumps around a little bit, but the jumping around that it did served this movie. It was so good. I loved it.
I also really enjoyed the comic reversal of the 3 days earlier when. This older gentleman gives Jason's father a call, and
the moment
he's just mumbling, and then the screen goes black, and it says 3 minutes later, and it
I
comes back and he's mumbling again, and
I busted my goddamn like I laughed. There were two. I was laughing throughout the entire movie. There were two big laughs, and that card. 3 minutes later, I lost my shit, and I was like, I was kind of like, my mind could not formulate the words fast enough for what my spirit was hoping for. That's what was going to happen in that moment, and it happened. Again, just
yeah.
massive amounts of trust in the movie making and the writing and the production and the execution of this movie. Laughed my ass off at that scene.
I'd like to take a nod to the writing right now because I'm just reminded of that. So there's a moment where the three jailbrokers, convicts, are trying to get some money out of these two and figure out how to go on next. And so they make them play this game that they used to play in prison.
And so this is where shit's going to go from a dark comedy, and it is from jump. He tries to kill her. She turns around. Aha, I knew what you're doing. Happy hunting reveal from a friend.
Yeah.
Great storytelling. But then it gets really dark, and I'm like, okay, we are in legitimate horror territory here.
Yeah.
Juliette Lewis.
Yes.
I don't want to say she played typical Juliette Lewis because I can't see anybody in my mind doing this role except her.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she crushed it, and it's definitely her wheelhouse, but it definitely still felt fresh. As much as we've seen Juliette Lewis play just like some crazy bitch, right? This role definitely had some nuance to it because she was more of like a mentally ill person who had a job as a CO who got codependent, who got manipulated by a criminal mastermind. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so there's a little bit more to it than just crazy Juliette Lewis.
So I have a question for you, Haas. This is probably early, but whatever. We're jumping around a little bit. Juliette Lewis and Timothy Oliphant are bleeping at least once or twice throughout the movie. While they're bleeping, and I thought about this after, she's, they're using some kind of, crazy pillow talk where she's like, bleep me, pig, bleep me.
Yeah.
And then I realized after I saw the movie, she's a cop. The character has some psychological issues.
Yeah. She's a CO, and she makes him she calls him a pig.
She calls him a pig.
A pig, yeah.
And he's a prisoner, and she's the cop.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on in her head?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
I love
it.
I'm gonna guess right now. Her character's backstory: her father was a police officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we get Juliette on the show, and she walked right by us, did not stop and say hello.
She didn't stop and say hello.
She didn't stop and say hello at the Dark Close Studios Basement Media booth at the last convention we went to.
Juliette walked right by.
But small in reality, huge presence.
Oh,
She amplified this film. It was perfectly cast. All five major players, plus Paul and even the orderly. It was great.
Oh yeah.
And the friend, maybe not the friend.
Oh, the friend. Yeah. The friend.
And we skipped straight to the three people breaking in. Before we get there, Samara Weaving turns the tables on Jason, and I think it was Lisa and Dan. Were those the characters' name?
Lisa and Dan.
And I was trying not to think of Lisa from The Room because of that conversation we had with the B. Humes about the disaster artist, or whatever the fuck that's called. Whatever Lisa, whatever that was.
Yeah. It's Lisa and Dan, and the friend is Henry.
Okay, so Henry, we get some nice, interesting history for him. He's the Deus Ex Machina. He shows up, but then Samara Weaving shows how intelligent she is. Like he lied to you. It's not $100,000. It's $1 million for the insurance policy. This movie has twists and turns, and every single step of the way is so much fun.
Well, Henry shows up because Dan, even though he wants to kill her wife because he feels like he has to do it, he has to be the one to do it. He has a problem with blood. He couldn't touch the raw steaks earlier in the movie, so Henry, who's his gardener or landscaper, comes to be the bag man after the deed is done.
And Jason Segel is tied up. Samara Weaving has him. He's convinced Samara's going to kill him because she's motivated enough, even if it's just revenge, at this point before her motivations are revealed. What does Jason say to his friend? He's like,
He's
Now would
he's
be what was it?
he's like, it's hammer time. So Henry comes in at the moment. She is interrogating Jason, and Jason's tied up. So Henry has this. It's a black rubber mallet. It's one of those big, like, yeah, it's just a mallet. It's not really a hammer. And so he's Jason is like, okay, well, and blah blah blah, and he fits it into the line
Yeah.
where he says to Samara, "It's hammer time," and he kind of looks at Henry, and then he looks back at Samara, and she's like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "It's hammer time," and he does it like 6 times, and then he goes, "Jesus fucking Christ, Jesus fucking Christ, Henry, hit her with the goddamn hammer!" And then she turns, and Henry hits her with the hammer and knocks her out.
So I know Droma has a comedy background. B. Humes did her typical research after, and so I know he has comedy chops. I knew Samara Weaving was going to have comedy chops. I knew it.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
her acting so far, Borderline and everything else, this was going to be a great fit for her.
Oh.
But Jason Segel, holy shit, comedy powerhouse, man. I'm going to say.
Oh yeah. Well, I just clicked on Jorma's picture, and now I know exactly who he is.
Yep, he's like on some podcast with some other.
Well, he's the guy from Lonely Island. They did Hot Rod,
That's
Pop
it.
Star.
That's it.
Yeah, the guy's hilarious. Hot Rod was great. Even Pop Star was great, actually. Yeah.
So what made him? What do you think made him team up with Samara Weaving and go a little bit dark towards the horror end? Because that game that they play, we'll get right back to, is legit scary.
The game is fucked up, and what I like to, why I wanted to bring it up is because every time like a really good comedy or even dark comedy comes out, those great comedies like American Pie, they have to add something to the zeitgeist, and American Pie added MILF, right?
Sure.
I don't think I'd ever heard that term before that movie, and I think that's where that came from. And so when I saw this,
saying it, I just don't think it was. I don't think it was amplified on the big screen. But yeah.
Yeah, when I saw this game, I was like, "Oh, this is it. This is this movie's."
Zeitgeist expansion.
Yes, it's gift to popular culture.
Yeah.
A game where you and one other person or multiple other people will fight in a circle until one of them fucks the other one.
Yeah.
And the winner gets the prize.
And the loser, I love Juliet's delivery of this, gets
fucked.
just damn. And I'm watching it. I'm like, wow, how dark is this movie going to get? Am I going to see this actor who had an uncredited scene in Breaking Bad and a bunch of other stuff? And I hope this is his breakout movie. Please look him up so I don't seem completely callous and heartless.
We're talking about Todd. We're talking about Todd.
Yep, that's the one.
Keith Jardine.
I'm like, okay, am I going to see Todd boinking Jason in the crapper? And it was possible. It was definitely, because Jason's got some balls. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, he has frontal nudity.
Full
He's
frontal.
got his wang just out there, and they counted the exact amount of times that it would be funny, and it was. And over here, it's hammer time. Jason understands comedy and repetition and pushing envelopes, so it really could have happened. I'm not surprised or disappointed that it didn't happen. I'm just saying it could have.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a game.
So Keith Jardine, who played Todd, is a recognized multi-award-winning MMA fighter turned actor. He's done about a dozen credits. A lot of horror movies, a little bit of TV. So he's out there. He's working.
Yeah. Jardine. What's the gentleman's first name?
Keith Jardine.
Keith Jardine. Keith, you're doing great, man. Keep it up.
Yeah, he was great in this movie. Oh my god, when he came back after being stabbed in the back of the head, I was like, no fucking way.
So every movie you kind of sort of know where it's going to go. We're in spoiler territory. They're going to make up at the end. At a certain point, you can almost feel it. And there's the pregnancy announcement and he's overhearing it. And it's like, oh fuck, man, like that just sabotaged all the progress that they just made as a couple. And so, but nevertheless, at the end they're going to figure out how to get past this. They're going to survive this. These 3 people are going to be the best marriage counseling they could have possibly had. So you know where it's going to go, but at the same time, when Todd reemerges, because now I'm doing the math. Two people against one killer, they have a chance here. Okay, one person against one killer, this is going to be tense. And then, but it's like when it's 2-on-2, I'm like, they got this. But then it's not. It's 3-on-2. It's like, holy shit. That was a great moment.
Right, and who do they need to show up? Jason's father comes in.
So great.
He Tokyo drifts right in, hits Timothy Oliphant, sends him flying.
Tokyo drifts with the best techno music playing in the background. And of course, we're going to get a quick card that you're going to enjoy, explaining how he got there with that awesome, inside that card, a card in a card, you're going to get the 3 minutes later
The 3
conversation
minutes later
when his
card.
neighbor calls him. So fucking great.
And then you're
Oh
going to
my
get this great
God.
scene that only an older, curmudgeonly actor like this guy could pull off, where he's driving 90 miles an hour to go and to not go and save his son and daughter-in-law. He's going to yell at them for breaking his window.
Yeah.
That's why he's freaking out.
Yeah.
He has no idea that the shit is going down. He just thinks that there's a broken window, and he's going there to scold this guy, his son, because he's got nothing better to do. He stole an orderly's car to do it. You know, it's definitely one of the more over the top sequences in the movie. But I never fell out of the movie. I did not fall out of the movie because of it. The suspension of disbelief stayed with me through the whole thing. Because
he hits the fob and he finds out which car the orderly is driving, and he just gets exhilarated. He's looking at the speed of it, and it's great, man.
And then the he's screaming like 90 miles an hour, and the camera's in the car with him, and the music is so loud, and it's EDM, of course, and he's just screaming at the top of his lungs, "Music off! Turn the music off! Volume down!"
that would have been me.
Yeah,
that would have been me. I would have been punching that fucking screen, so he's calmer than I would have been. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with this technology shit these days.
But then
perfect.
But then it cuts back in, and he's singing, and the line is like it's like fuck something. It's like
yeah.
He's picking up the lyrics. He's just like whatever it was. It was great.
If you can't turn it off, join him.
Yeah. So he Tokyo drifts into Timothy Oliphant. He grabs a shotgun, blows the face off of Todd. Todd's not coming back.
No, I think at this point, I think at this point, Timothy Oliphant already had it's his dad who shows up, and he says, "I'm going to bite your nose off."
Right.
And he fucking does it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jason's dad in this movie is legit. He's hardcore.
And Timothy Oliphant has set up the lawnmower to chop up Jason Segel,
Segel's fingers, and two of them do come flying off, including the one with the wedding band.
That's right.
Which we don't see it, but we'll see it later.
We'll see it later.
While Weaving very touchingly brings him his fingers, and I brought you fingers, and it's like, okay. I'm gonna save my commentary for that moment when we get there. We've got a nice pace going. Let me not.
Right. So we got Jason's dad. He's about to kill Timothy Oliphant, but he gets stabbed through the center with a knife by Juliette Lewis. So then he tackles Timothy Oliphant, bites his nose off. Timothy Oliphant throws him on the lawnmower. So he does get to chop someone up with his lawnmower. It just happens to be Jason's dad instead of Jason. This is where Jason and Samara get to bolt, where he tells.
Yeah, if I nitpicked anything at all, it would be the dad telling Jason or Dan to run.
To run.
You know, I'm not sure if I can. You know, I'm not gonna leave my dad with a bunch of killers. So if I had any criticism, but I knew they weren't gonna get anywhere. But you know, that was just the one nitpick I would have. I'd be like, if I was on set, I'd be like, guys, let's do something with this line.
So I had two thoughts about that. The first thought was, I feel like his dad might have said something like, "What are you waiting for? Kill him, you pussy." But on the other hand, they took this opportunity because they had it to show just a moment of actual love for his son, where he says run, where he says because he wants the son to survive. So I go both ways. It's a little against character, but also you want characters to learn and grow through a movie. Even though he didn't get a lot of screen time, you could give him a little bit of of redemption instead of just being a douchebag dad through the whole thing. He gets a little bit
Yeah.
of a little bit of sentiment there. So I was in. I was in for it.
Yeah, I just, if there was a line, and maybe there wasn't, I missed it. If there was a line when he was visiting him in the nursing home about running or fighting, something like that. And I know it would have been heavy-handed to like sew it in perfectly, but that, if that could have happened, that would have made me super, super happy. As it is, I'm just gonna chalk it up to there's a background story, there's a character history there that I'm not aware of, and
Yep.
I do not give a shit because this movie was so fucking good.
So fucking
This is
good.
just me being, as per my usual, super nitpicky.
Yep.
It won't matter. Go see this movie. You will love it, including that moment.
Yep. So now we get right. They split up. So does Samara Weaving goes towards the boat, and does Jason Segel fight Juliette
So-
Lewis? I thought she
So
fought.
Jason
Juliette.
Segel definitely fights Juliette Lewis because he turns the tables on her. One of the background things, he's looking for his sweater. And it's not until the three people show up and we get their card, their flashback, that we see her putting on the sweater. We see Todd dripping the cornflakes, and he just picks one up when he comes in the house and says, my.
Nice.
And so now he's getting his sweater back. He comes back emerged from the house with the sweater on, but his character is definitely evolving. He's kind of a Jason Segel character. He's not too different from who he was in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and he has that Freaks and Geeks DNA there where he's going to build up on his small successes, especially at the end when he learns how to say no to an extra take. So I really liked all that. I appreciated that collaboration that went in there that Jason contributed towards the movie, but he definitely goes to Juliette Lewis in one moment and says, "Oh, we got a wiggler," which is what she says to him during the game.
During the game, yeah.
So great moment.
Yeah.
I love my callbacks, especially in horror and especially in comedy, and this is both. And he says it. He's not funny when he says it.
No.
He is brutal. He is horror genre.
Yeah, it's definitely the revenge, the vengeance
Yes.
when he says, "We've got a wiggler."
It was dark. It was fun.
Yeah.
So when we see Samara Weaving being funny, now we get to see Jason Segel being dark.
Being a little serious.
What
yeah.
a great marriage of talent and concepts that went into this movie.
Oh yeah. So he's gonna dispatch Juliette Lewis. Does he kill her? I know he shoots her foot, the hole in her foot, and then
I think it was the dad that shot the foot.
Okay, so
I love the scene because when I say this movie has horror chops, there's a scene where she's trying to heal her foot. She's talking to Timothy Oliphant. Listen, we need to heal my foot up, then we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
He chooses that moment to break up with her.
break up with her.
Great writing. And so we see her healing the foot. My timing is a little off. Well, I definitely won't mind watching this again for sure. So I'll pay more attention to the sequence with that. But I want to say he does kill her.
I think he does kill her because we get no one has been paying attention to the Oliphant. He sent his wife to the boat. Timothy Oliphant shows up at the boat. He finishes with her just as Samara Weaving screams for Dan. She screams Dan. He runs to the boat, or he runs towards the boat, and then there's cutaway so we can see what Timothy and Samara are doing on the boat, so that Dan can show up right at the last second. Oh no! Yeah, right at the last second and grab the rope.
Yeah, and grab the rope, and that's going to come into play when he gets dragged down. And the original 2 interrogation scenes before the 3 people show up, before we realize they were actually there. And she's like, "Oh, what were you doing? Rocks? I saw you collecting the rocks." And he put thought into it. And he when he gets interrogated, he's like, "Wait, I have a question. Why would you want to kill me? I've been great." He doesn't realize that he's been lethargic, lazy. She thought marrying an older man, she was gonna get somebody mature. Instead, she got a man child. Great bit of dialogue. It also makes the age difference between these characters way more palatable. Because I had a slight issue with that until she said that line. But so I know the rocks on the boat are going to come into play. But I thought it was going to be Samara versus Timothy. I didn't think Jason was going to be there. So that was a nice twist.
Yeah, I think Jason had to be there. Like, his hero's journey is fighting for her and fighting for the relationship, and
Yes.
and that's what what actually happens here on the boat, and that ends well. It is the climax, not the epilogue. Of course, the epilogue, we get Jason Segel saying no to an extra cut, to show that he's actually completed the journey and his character has learned from the
He
quest.
has grown, and as far as him fighting for her, which is what she was looking for, which is why she slept around with Dario, some other guy on a movie. They have some stuff. You know, he did make a movie, and Timothy Oliphant loves it, and she didn't even he did not even give her a
He
role.
didn't offer her role. She thought he was going to, like just
And so there's a lot of history there, and it's greatly delivered. And he does fight for her in this movie, and at no point does it feel like bullshit. At no point, oh, where did you learn how to do that? Prison, you know, none of that bullshit. There was no adamantium skeleton. There's no die hard crap. It was all believe. It was a believable, acceptable amount of damage that this man takes. That okay, he's going to be the next scene, and I'm not going to disbelieve that. So I thought the fighting for her was realistic and not unrealistic. I thought it was great.
yeah. Yeah, it's funny too. There's a scene where in the beginning after they've confronted each other where he says she'll never get away with it because she's a terrible actress.
Thank you. Thank you. I knew it was a terrible actress line, and like that was a great callback at the end. But that I think that's in the trailer.
Yeah.
And they start outperforming.
So they
each
start
other.
trying to to show like this is he's like this is his performance, and his performance is really fucking good. And honestly, her performance is kind of bad. Like she hams it up a little bit on purpose, obviously, because Samara is that talented that she could act poorly. She could act as an actress acting poorly, and you would believe it. That's the hard part because I've seen that before, and it's never really delivered properly. This version of it, Samara's version of it, felt really real. Like she did an excellent job at this specifically, in addition to everything else, of course.
Darcy Corden was able to do that in The Good Place, and I think John Ritter was able to do that in that movie with the glow in the dark condoms. Well, you know that movie from the '80s, like Balls Deep or some shit.
No.
What's
John
that movie
Ritter?
You know that movie. John Ritter from Three's Company.
Yeah, the John Ritter movie I always watched from back then was the one was like the devil had a TV station or some shit. Stay tuned.
Maybe Skin Deep? I think it was called Skin Deep.
Skin Deep, John Ritter. All right, we're going on a tangent. Let's get back to it.
We're going to have to go on a tangent, but it's worthwhile to talk about how excellent Samara Weaving's acting is, comparable to Darcy Corden and John Ritter, in my estimation, my expert opinion. And she absolutely nailed it, but they're going back and forth, and one of the insults that he throws at her is, "You're a terrible actress," and you could feel it.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, man, low blow. But then the pregnancy reveal, they're in the closet. I think Timothy's coming after them. And he's like, "Hey, listen, I heard about the baby, and I'm not even mad, not even a little bit." And she's like, no, that was bullshit. And he's like, "Bullshit?" And he's like, "You're not pregnant?" And she's like, "Not even a little." So great. Great scene. And it sets up the ending perfectly.
So it was Skin Deep, written and directed by Blake Edwards, the guy who wrote A Shot in the Dark, and that was the first Pink Panther, and obviously helmed that series. I have not seen it. I'm going to check it out. The movie I was...
the glow in the dark condom scene is the funniest scene. I remember watching it and being bored, but maybe I was not adult enough to watch it when it came out.
Sure.
So,
the movie I was thinking of was called Stay Tuned.
Wait, wasn't Stay Tuned about a Broadway play that they did the right way and then they were doing it the wrong way on purpose, and then the actors were screwing over the other actors within the construct of the play? Or am I thinking of something else?
A husband and wife are sucked into a hellish television set and must survive the gauntlet of twisted versions of shows in which they find themselves.
I vaguely remember that. And this is not the episode of the podcast for the recently deceased where we go off on tangents.
No.
Because this movie was too epic.
This movie was too good to go on tangents.
No tangents.
Right. And we're
Fuck
back.
you, Kathleen Kennedy!
We're back. And we're back. All right. I love this movie. I gave it a 9. Best movie of the year so far. I did also, I think Steven will appreciate, I watched The Mummy a second time, and although I still give it an 8, I have decided that it is not as good as Send Help, and it has fallen into the 3rd slot. So as of right now, we are Over Your Dead Body, we are Send Help, we are The Mummy, and we are They Will Kill You. And there is no 5th movie.
I spoke to a coworker who's watching the podcast. Shout out to Jen and Serena out there, and Edmund, if you guys are watching. And what I said was, go see Lee Cronin's The Mummy, and if you want to watch me bitch for 20 minutes about it being called Lee Cronin's The Mummy, I don't have enough time to chew your ear off here at work. That's not professional. So, still love the movie, still hate the title, and sorry, man, it takes very, very little to piss me off. As for Over Your Dead Body, Stephen Anthony, Dark Claw Studios, loved it. Absolute 9. And I'm surprised I loved it. I did go in there with the prejudice, and you know what? Don't judge a book by its cover. Holy shit, so good.
So good. Next week, we'll be doing, I believe, Hokum.
Yes!
And then the week after is something just as awesome, Obsession. We're going to have, it's just bangers coming.
Is Hokum going to disappoint me? Because I looked at the coming attraction for They Will Kill You, and I said, this is going to be shit. And it was shit in my estimation, but I acknowledge it's a very, very good movie. And then I looked at the coming attraction for Undertone, and I said, this is going to be amazing. And it was shit. So I am not good at predictions, apparently. Hokum looks amazing. Please, please tell me I'm not going to cry.
Okay. All right. So this is from the guy who did Oddity and one other folk horror movie.
Tell me everything's going to be okay.
Caveat. Everything's going to be fine.
Okay, good.
No, Caveat was this other horror movie.
Oh, shit.
Which is on everybody's top 20, like in the world.
Oh.
Yeah. And Oddity came out, I think, in 2004 or 2024, and it was very, very good. It was definitely folk horror. He definitely has a folk horror love. So it's going to be witches. It's going to be omens and trinkets.
The Witch is my favorite horror movie of all time.
There you go.
Said that before, and I'll say it again.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna. I think you're gonna love it. I think I'm gonna love it. Adam Scott is always good. He actually
Adam Scott is great.
somehow made a PG-13 movie about the Krampus. Was good because of him.
So this director, you're telling me he's going to deliver a quality product because, you got those movies like The Replacements where they show the whole goddamn movie in the trailer, and it's disappointing.
Yep.
And then there's movies like Good Boy who show nothing in the trailer, and it looks great because they showed nothing in the trailer. So now I got post-traumatic good boy disorder. Hokum is showing me very, very little, and they know I'm going to love it, and I just don't want them to bite me in the dick when I walk into the movie theater.
So the potential downside to Hokum for anyone is that it will be a slow burn. But The Witch was a slow burn, but it did give you like pillars to stand on. It kind of it ramped it up and then it plateaued, and then it ramped it up and then it plateaued, and then it hit you at the end. Hokum should flow like that, I think.
Before we wrap this up, Haas, what was the breakout performance for you in Over Your Dead Body? Jason, Samara, Paul, which way are we going? Juliet?
I would love to give it to Samara because, I love her so much, but I've never seen this side of Jason Segel before, and I think Jason Segel's such a great actor. I followed him since the beginning of his career. I'm such a huge fan, and getting to see him from these new perspectives was really fun. I've seen everything Samara did in this. I've seen from Samara, right? Like she's great, and she was great in it. But she did this in Borderline. She did this in Mayhem. She did this in Ready or Not 2. She's old hat in a role like this. Jason Segel, having never done something like this before, at least nothing I've seen.
I think he's building on what he has in his wheelhouse, but I definitely think he's taking risks and making bold choices with what he chose to do in this movie. So yeah, I agree 1,000% with that.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Jason. All right, okay. I gave it a 9. He gave it a 9. I'm the boss, Hosferatu, from the podcast for the recently deceased and Basement Media, BasementMedia.Online.
I'm Stephen Anthony with DarkClawStudios.com.
And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.